Well, while South Africa was entering a new era on this day back in 1994, a different kind of watershed moment was taking place in Rwanda. It was in the grip of a genocide that left about 800,000 people dead. eNCA's Rwandan correspondent, Isabel Nakirya, joins us now from Kampala. Isabel, thanks so much for your time. Before we take a look back, just news in over the past 24 hours or so of hundreds of bodies discovered from the 1994 genocide, but officials don't seem to be surprised by the discovery at all.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Isabel, I'm hoping that our connection to you can improve. Take us through the news just in over the past 24 hours of hundreds of bodies being discovered all these years later after the genocide.
Yes, of course, certainly the world stood by and watched. Nothing happened. Corpses littered the streets of Kigali. Up to 100 days of the genocide as it happened, over 800,000 corpses littered the streets of Kigali. Now, the UN head of mission in Rwanda reportedly sent telegrams to the UN Secretary General or the UN Security Council in the US, but nothing happened. There were signs. We understand that there were signs that the genocide was bound to happen. His telegram reported that there was a catastrophe that was befalling the country of Rwanda. There were signs like ethnic killings. There were signs like assassination attempts. There were signs like violent demonstrations were taking place. The Belgian government at that time was aware of what was happening. Remember, the Belgian government was a colonial master of Rwanda. It was aware. It reported this to the UK and the US government, but nothing happened. The US actually said that it was a tribal war. The international community or the international troops that were deployed in Rwanda, we understand the UN had peacekeepers in Rwanda, but they only evacuated foreign nationals from Kigali. And so the situation went overboard. And of course, up to 801 million bodies were discovered later on. Earlier on, I reported that even on Lake Victoria, bodies were floating on the lake.
And of course, a quarter of a century, at least almost a quarter of a century later, bodies are still being discovered. In fact, just this week. All right, we do seem to be battling with our sound connection there to our Rwandan correspondent there in Kigali, Isabel Nakirya, just giving us a sense of how things unfolded almost a quarter of a century ago in that genocide that rocked Rwanda. Just this week, the remains of more than 200 people killed in the 1994 genocide uncovered in a village on the outskirts of Kigali, and that's according to the country's memorial center.